Okay, so welcome to my home edit. This is for balayage, freehand balayage, and I'm just going to do a real simple technique for you guys today. So we are looking at my lovely block here. It's a little bit dishevelled because I've done lots of finger waving and wanding and all sorts of stuff to her lately on my lessons. So I think she's a little bit battered. Poor Karen. Yeah, she is called Karen, so I think I've actually accidentally stolen Karen's block at some point, so sorry about that. So we're going to be doing a little bit of freehand balayage, and we will be doing it on some of our live lessons as well, but I thought it would be really key to do a little video of sort of step by step and show you in maybe more of a close-up detail, because I know it can be quite difficult on our live lessons to actually see what we're doing, so hopefully you'll get something out of it today. Okay, so we are going to create some freehand balayage, and I'm using Blonde Me, Swatchcraft Blonde Me, which is a really great clay. I've used it a couple of times now and really love it, and actually a couple of you guys, the students, have told me how amazing it is and have recommended it because, as most of you will know, I love L'Oreal and always use L'Oreal, so it's been quite nice to try something new. Now, the great thing about Blonde Me, with it being a clay, is that it doesn't bleed, which is fab for freehand techniques. Also, it helps, it actually forms a barrier on the outside with it being a clay, so it stops the colour from going dry or crumbly, which sometimes we see in the salon. And it also keeps our moisture level inside the hair, so it really lifts quite nicely as it's covered up, and you actually get up to 7 levels of lift with this lightener, whereas I think the L'Oreal freehand one was around 6, and I think that's questionable, especially when you're working on a block. So we'll see how it works today. So my block here has got a nice side parting, and all I'm going to do today is just add a little bit of freehand around that hairline, and then just a few sections through there, so nothing too major, because I do want to use this block for other lessons as well, but it'd be nice just so that you can see up a bit closer how I've created it. So first of all, we're going to section off that hairline at a bit of a diagonal, and we're just going to use a bowl and brush and a balayage board. So super simple. So hopefully you've got it at home. And we're just going to try and work on adding a bit of a money piece to the front sections first. Okay, so let's go for it. I'll just go a little bit slimmer. I seem to have misplaced some of my clips. Thought I was really organised, but clearly not. Just done a video earlier, and I think I've just put my stuff everywhere. So here we go. We'll go a little bit skinnier with this first section on the right hand side, and we will work on 2 sections. So we'll work around the ear first. Now guys, I'm going to go for like a really natural effect. I'm going to go for more surface paint and then into more of a saturated look. And I'm going to do the very hairline first, because it's important when we do the money piece that that hairline area is covered. So really we're working just that tiny little sliver on our blocks at the front here, okay? So that's how we're going to work first. And I'll talk you through the whole section patterns at the end and drawing as well, so you'll get to grips with that. So we are going to create, a surface paint. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold the hair 90 degrees out from the head, okay? So that we can get that really nice highlighted look here. And we're going to weave some of the sections, but this one we're going to slice, and we're just going to really freehand that lightener through, okay? So let's go for it. So I'm just using a normal brush, nothing fancy, it's just a L'Oreal one. We've got our lightener, and we're literally applying, not digging the colour in, we're going to slide it down the hair, okay? So here we go. So we're going to start sliding that colour through. And I always start with the 2 sections, so either side, so creating a bit of a V. And then start really softly feathering that colour. Hopefully my head's not in the way. Nice and closely to that root area, okay? So that we get that really natural. Blend. Okay. Now we've just surface painted that, so the other side isn't covered. Use your fingers to really smooth the hair. If you've got any like little blobby areas, those blobby areas are going to show. And then we're going to use our balayage board to saturate those ends, okay? And saturation means that the colours work through both, not just the surface, but it's completely through the ends. And the reason why I tend to only saturate the very ends is so that we get that real nice pop of colour. And that's what we want. We want that graduation of colour for that lovely money piece, okay? And we're just going to let that fall. Okay. Then our next section, we're going to go back to our diagonal. We're working diagonal back so that the colour comes onto the face. Okay, and then this time we're going to weave it. So we're going to weave and weave some quite big chunky weaves, okay, so we don't want it to look too soft. When we think about balayage, we really want those like nice ribbons of colour. And if you work loads of sections through, you're never going to get that because you're not going to have that contrast. So we've done a weave, we're going to bring the hair 90 degrees from the head so that we're not implicating any other areas. And we're just going to really nicely surface paint that section, which I hope you can see. I may move my block a little bit so that you can see. And literally just surface painting that section. To see a little bit more on some of the other sections. So we're going up to the root area, we're just really softly feathering the colour, so we're not splodging the colour there. And then we're going to use our balayage board to saturate. So a little bit higher with that saturation there, so we don't want to have all of the lightness at different levels. It's nice to have some different effects, some varied effects, which is what you would have if the hair naturally had lightened in the sun. And that's really what this is sort of trying to emulate. So now we're going to work on this section at the front here as well. Do the same as we did on our first section, so a real skinny hairline slice. And you might be thinking, God, there's not very many sections or not much of a section pattern going on, but it'll become a little bit more obvious as time goes on. Really, when it comes to freehand, it's quite free and easy anyway. When it comes to sectioning, it's so visual. You kind of want to put the lightener where you want to apply it. Away a little bit more. We're going to bring the hair up away from the head, okay? really important that we don't lie it down, because otherwise all the lightness is going to be here, not there. When the client wears their hair up, they're going to want to see maybe some of those highlights. So this is just a really good way of doing it. Always good to try and start sort of midway and then feather that lightness down. Hopefully you can see obviously depends on the client's hairline and what they're looking for really. They might not want to have colour right on their hairline. That money piece look is definitely good. So we kind of get that nice effect, nice highlighted effect, but completely freehand. Then we're going to bring it back over, and we're actually going to surface paint the other side now, because we want it to have like a nice pop of lightness on that money piece. And we're really going to try and create the same. So on the other side. I think you guys can really see. You trust what I'm up to. Really help build confidence and also build up some of your skills that you can use in the salon. Make you feel a bit more salon ready, which is definitely what you're all after at the moment. This is such a great opportunity doing at home. Hopefully you've got time. Going on. This is a good opportunity to watch as much as you can and practice as much as you can. Okay, so we're just going to saturate from mid-lengths to ends and let that fall. Now obviously if this is a real client, I would not have the lightener over the eye. I'd put some foil in the way to protect it, okay? But because it is a block, we can just leave it. So we've done now 3 sections through that area, which is going to give it a nice big pop. I'm going to do another small section, about 1 centimetre deep, same angles and the same technique, where we're really working through a bit of a surface paint and then into a saturation. And it would be up to you and your client whether you want to work a lot more lightness around the face to create that money piece or not. You know, some looks are almost all blonde at that front section. So totally up to you. And if you're wanting like a real push of lightness, you're looking really at using more of a foilage. So you could do this and then pop it in a foil, and the foil would then really help push that lightener and give you all of those levels of lift. This only gives you 7 levels of lift. In a foil with normal pre-lightener, you'd be looking at up to 9. So that is quite a big shift. If a client wants it to be really bright and obvious, then a foilage, so this effect in a foil would be better. But you guys have all been asking for a video of freehand, so here we go. So I'm going to do a little sliver in between, and I'm just going to freehand it now on that section. Hopefully you can see it okay. That looks alright. Okay, so midway first with our lightener. And then you've got the option, you could have weaved it, or you can do what I'm doing and just add your highlights this way. This is just surface painting again, so only on the top of the surface. Gives you a bit more of a kiss of colour rather than a real kick. So saturation is what's going to give you that kick. You can do a V, you could do a W, or you could make it look very highlighted. And the more you do it, the more you practice, the easier it becomes. So hopefully you can see that there. So we've created a fair bit to the root. We've not gone too crazy with that one. And then we're going to saturate from there. If you feel like you want to smooth it a bit more with your finger, then that gets a really nice effect as well. If there's any areas that are maybe a little bit blobby, just make sure you've got some kitchen roll or towel to clean your hands off as you go, so you're not really messy. And then we are going to saturate the rest. Okay. Now obviously in the salon I'd have my trolley wheeling around, but I'm not in my salon, so I've only got my colour in one area, so it makes it a little bit more tricky. And I'm trying to get the colour, especially when I'm right-handed and I'm there trying to grab it from the left. Not clever, but we've got to do what we've got to do. Okay. And then another section through here, we're going to do the exact same. So pulling the hair outwards, freehand, and then saturation. Working through the mid-band first. And then building up. A little bit stuck with what to tone with because I don't have a lot of colour at home, so we will have to wait and see. But you can always have a little look and think what would be the ideal toner. Okay, so we'll do the same now on the other side, and then we will work more diagonal sections just under the parting around the head, just to add a bit of a shimmer to the hair, sort of bring in the look. So we're going to bring her over to this side now, and we're going to still work on that money piece, and we're going to do the same again with the hairline. Okay. So I'm going to do 2 sections on that hairline, but they'll be just slightly smaller than this side because there's less depth of hair because we've got that side parting. So we'll start off here, a slightly smaller section, bringing the hair out again, and then we're going to apply that colour through here. I may have to move her here actually because I won't be able to do it otherwise. Hopefully you'll be able to see. I'm sure the more videos I get, I'll become a pro. Be back at college then when I can do it. Okay, so we're going to work that lightener through, and we're really trying to keep quite a blended level of lightness here. I do need to move positions, so let's scooch around here so that I can see what I'm up to. That's better. Hopefully you can still see too. The ponytail's not flicking in the way. Okay, so I've just really softly blended and feathered that colour there. And then I'm just going to grab my board and saturate. And in this section we're going to surface paint both sides like we did on the other. This really gives you quite a few different techniques. You can either weave it, you could slice it, and then softly feather the colour through, You could surface paint the whole lot and not saturate the ends, but I think that the saturation is what gives it that nice effect. We're just going to drop a section. Okay, and then we're going to do the same on this area here. So we're going to hold the hair back. Away from the face, so that you guys can see. And then forward. The reason why we start here, not there, is because when we then pull the hair back, we're going to be spoiling the colour on the rest of the hair. So we're pulling the hair away from the face, mid-band first, we want all of that to be applied, and then we're going to start bringing that colour in close to the root on both sides. I shouldn't have looked at the camera, that didn't help. Lifts quite nicely on these blocks, but who knows, like, blocks are just a nightmare, aren't they? Okay, so then I'm going to bring the hair the other way. Do a little swivel around the head, and then mid-band again first. Try and create the same little effect that you did on the other side. I'm not going to go mad on this block, I'm just going to do a couple more sections because I do want to be able to use it again. This, I hope, has given you a nice little idea, close up, of what we're doing. Maybe it just doesn't come up the right orange. Hey ho, who knows? Blocks can be fun. Okay. And then one more section. And then we'll work through the rest of the hair. And I'll put some images on at the end result. So now we're going to weave, because we did another weave here. So show you the other technique. So if you're not feeling too safe with what I've been doing, you can weave the hair, weave and leave, and then you can surface paint that weave, and then saturate it. I think for starting off, weaving is probably easier, but I know that you guys will want to know how to do it the other way, so this shows you both. And then let's saturate that colour through. So we get a real pop. Like I said before, real person, we would flip it on the face, we put some foil there to protect it. Cool, so we've done our money piece area now, which is great. And now all we're going to do is I'm going to do a couple of sections through the rest of the hair. If I was doing this on a real person, I probably would work then through the back section at the nape, working at a diagonal back still, same sectioning pattern all the way through up to the crown, and the same on the other side. And then I'd work those sides in on a diagonal back as well, just so it's underneath that parting, so you're not going to get loads of colour on that very parting. So I'm just going to do a couple of sections either side, and then we can always use my block another time and really input a lot more lightness and a lot more balayage as well. This is a good little taster for you guys, hopefully, for you to continue with at home. So we're going to go diagonal back, give it a good break. Like I said before, the more of a gap, the better in a way, because you get more of those ribbons of colour and contrast. So this technique isn't about whacking in loads and loads and loads of balayage to give you that highlighted look. That's what foils are for. This is to give you that more multi-tonal look. Freehand definitely has its place. I think a lot of people are scared of doing it, so hopefully you guys will feel a bit more confident after having a little go at it today. So I'm going to take my slice here, so we're just working diagonal back. I'm going to do another section here as well, and then the same on the other side, and then we'll add the back in at a later date. I'm going to weave again. I'm going to weave really chunky sections actually, because I think that gives us more of that ribbon effect. Whereas when you completely freehand it, it's quite blended. It'd be nice to be able to really see that look that we're working with. So work through that mid band first, bring the hair up out of the way, really feather it through. Hopefully you won't have any distractions like me looking at the camera. Using my flow. I'm just going to get right in a moment. If you blob any colour on any areas that you don't want, you can just brush it away, or cotton wool and water, and remove it. It's a real biggie. Balayage that through. Saturate that through with our balayage board. Really saturate those ends so you get that lovely result. I think we're probably not going to get a huge amount of lift on this block because I'm in my office and it's actually really, really cold out here. Snowing today, so definitely a cold day. Okay, now next section again, we're going to take it, I reckon, I'd say like an inch away. And just work a really nice big section there. And just carry that on around the head. I'm just going to do a couple more sections on this, or just another section here, and then a couple more sections on the other side, and then we'll just see how it looks. I don't want this video to be forever long. I'm sure you've all got a life. I don't want to be watching this for too long. I don't know if you find, like me, find it quite mesmerising in colour. I can kind of sit and watch it forever. But each to our own. Some of you guys probably aren't going to be huge fans of colour. Some will love it, some will hate it. And I'm saturating that colour through. Going to do two sections on the other side, so this is going to really look like quite a lightning service really for the front, to give you that sort of blended money piece effect. already highlighting really nicely through that section there. Really good. Okay. So our next section we're going to work at diagonal back again. And then we'll work a little bit higher because we've got more hair on this side, remember. And one thing you've got to do as well, if it is a real client, is tell them to be still, like after the colour's on. I used to do a lot of balayage in the salon, and then like literally 5 minutes later the client's got their head upside down, they're rummaging in a bag, and you're like, oh my god, my colour. So you have to tell them and be strict with it. Just don't move. It's all that hard work can just be ruined in a flash. So we go quite chunky again, we'll do 3. Working the hair out away from the head. Surface painting to start with. Remember, surface painting is because we're just working on that surface, not the underneath. It's going to give you a softer effect on the hair. Try and work somewhere warm, not like me in a freezing cold office. No one's been in for a week, well, a couple of days. Using your finger to really smooth the colour in does make a difference. So if you do have any like blobby areas, that can really make a difference. And then saturating that colour through. I can't wait to see all of your work, what you create. Like I said before as well, if you don't have colour and you haven't got the means to get it, you could do this with conditioner and flour, or conditioner and talc. It would definitely give you the effect. Obviously it wouldn't lift the hair or do anything to the hair, but you'd be able to see your application and practice freehand application as well, which would be great. Got to be resourceful. If you haven't got a balayage board, you could possibly use your hand. Just make sure you clean your hands in between because you don't want them mucky hands to work on your next section. Okay, and then do another one a little bit lower. Spin her around. So I'm going to work here. So far it's taken me around half an hour to do this. You can think this is a really key technique to do in the salon, which is great. Really quick and easy, and it's what clients want as well, really effective. Really natural. And you can't really get this effect with like a full head of foils. It's not going to happen. It's too structured. So we're pulling the hair out, surface painting again. Feathering that colour in so that you can see. just to key around the face to give that a bit of a glow. So we'll see how that looks at the end. Okay, so this is the end result of our freehand balayage around the face to create that money piece and highlighted effect. And I'm thinking it's looking really great. I thought that I may get a little bit more lift, but I think there may have been colour on the block before. As I said, it's not my original block, I've stolen it from Karen, sorry about that. But I really am happy with the overall blend and look. I've not toned the hair at all, didn't have the right toner really to go for this look and this tone, but definitely a blue ash is what we're looking for to neutralise against some of that orange. If you have a little look, it's got such a lovely blend around that hairline while we've got that lovely money piece. Really, really lovely. So don't be scared, like we can do this, definitely. Like nice and close. It's all about practicing and getting that smooth blend with your surface lights and then that saturation. It really blends in nicely with the rest of the hair, even with just a few sections. And such a quick technique as well, so just to sort of bring somebody up to date and enhance their look and enhance their style, this would definitely be a good one for you to have in your techniques that you can use and whip out in the salon or at home, depending on what you're up to. So I hope you've enjoyed our freehand highlight tutorial and look forward to seeing you guys soon.